What happens if I do this? But I think, hold on. Good early morning, everybody. In here, out there, all the ships at sea. Welcome to the Wisconsin State Esports Spring Championships. It is the finals, coming to you live from Carthage College in Kenosha County, Wisconsin. My name is Carl, and today I am joined by a new friend on the broadcast. It's Hunter.
Yeah, hello everybody. I'm Hunter. I'm the current League of Legends coordinator for the Wisconsin High School Esports Association.
He's excited to be here. Very appreciative that you stepped in and saved me from 2 best-of-3s of solo casting, but we should quickly go over the format and the matches for today. Back to the lobby. Right now we've got 2 semifinals of the League of Legends section. It's Wisconsin Lutheran and Elkhorn, which is the game before another stream, and we'll have the state finals later in the day after these 2 semifinals.
Never look back.
Very brief setup, but we'll hop into the lobby right now since they've started the draft. They didn't even ask us. Lutheran on the blue side, Elkhorn on the red side. What are your thoughts?
So I think the Darius and Yorick bands, they're obviously going for a more powerful top lane. They want somebody to have a good matchup. Or since this is high school, they could just be banning comfort champions as well.
Nothing wrong with that. Sometimes you look at the OPGG, you say, no, you can't play that. Or they just hate playing against Darius. They don't want to be the guy that gets level 2 killed, so they go, we're going to ban that one away. I think outside of the professional level, I find the bans not super informational all of the time, right? You just kind of ban randomly, you ban on comfort, like you said, off the OPGG, or just a feeling you had that day. So looks like we have some junglers picked up straight away, prioritizing that position.
Yeah, pretty default first pick from blue side. We got the Graves. It's I would say it's a pretty decent line pick. It's good into any AD matchup, but as soon as the opponent picks an AP jungler, it's kind of a rough start already.
Got it. The Mummy picked up, maybe a Mummy jungle. Usually we see Mummy support, at least in my games. They also have a Thresh. Is Mumu jungle a thing?
Yeah, so Mumu jungle is very much a thing.
All right.
It's still in meta.
Still in the meta. We'll take it.
Yeah, we got the Seraphine and Karma. It looks like it's a Seraphine Karma flex between mid and support, but I've also seen Seraphine flexed into the ADC role.
That's true. A little AP carry, little whatever you want to call it carry, we'll take it. At that double shield so far, so maybe we'll see some kind of hyper carry. We are playing on the live patch, so the Rage Blade changes are in. I play AD carry, so that's usually all I have to talk about. You know, Kog'Maw, something like that could come through, but Draven Thresh on the other side, a very aggressive lane. So you might find yourself getting taken down early if those hooks start landing.
Yeah, if they're up against the Seraphine Karma bot, that could be trouble for Seraphine Karma at certain times, just because they are squishy champions.
That could go badly very quickly. We talked about the top lane mostly in the bans so far. We've seen top lane throughout almost all the games, at least on stream, has been like hard carrying. Through top lane, there's not been a lot of like mid bot carry. A lot of top lane bruiser carries so far. A lot of bans, but no picks up to this point. What picks are you seeing that might be strong in the top lane?
Well, since we're going for more carry-centric, I believe that champions like Jax and probably Camille could be a good pick here. I mean, they banned Darius, which is sometimes pretty rough for certain bruiser matchups.
Gotcha. We've also seen a lot of set, I must say.
A lot of set.
There's been a lot of set. I don't think set's a particularly like strong objectively champion, but we've seen a few people playing it. I'm struggling to remember who Hephaestus was playing the last time they were on stream, since Lutheran was on stream a few weeks ago, but it was a different patch. Ahri picked up in the mid lane.
It looks like it will be a Seraphine Karma bot lane.
I am afraid for this lane against Thresh Draven, right? I think if you don't get hooked, if you don't get engaged on, you can probably be fine. You can scale up. But that sentence, stand aside. These things could spell doom for Seraphine very quickly. Draven Axis hit hard.
Yeah, even Thresh does his own fair share of damage, especially putting a few points in the queue. As soon as you get hit by that hook, you're going to have almost a quarter of your HP taken out as a squishy mage.
Certainly, and obviously they do have shields, but you know, one Seraphine shield, one Karma shield, especially at level 3, level 4, that is not an amount of shielding that is really going to save you from an Amumu coming in, the Draven Axis kind of hammering down if you're going to get CC chained. So I think dodging out from those spells is really the way to go here for Lutheran. They have, you know, maybe if they can scale, it could be a strong lane into Draven, but early on, very, very vulnerable, I would say.
And then it looks like we got a pretty default competitive top lane matchup. You mentioned earlier that it's normally bruisers and carries, hard stomps in the top side. We got Aatrox versus Renekton top lane. I believe this matchup is generally Renekton early, then Aatrox later on that can carry.
Okay.
But the way these teams are looking to fight, I would definitely say that the blue side wants to take it slower than the red side in terms of fighting. So I think with the Amumu, Draven, Swain, they kind of want to go all in and try to burst as much as they can early. And then with Aatrox and Graves with Seraphine Karma, they want to sustain and make the fight extend.
Yeah, I think one of the strong things about the double mage when Seraphine started to be played, you know, bot carry a couple of years ago and the first kind of came into the meta conceptually was just how long you can stay alive in these fights, throwing out, you know, multiple shields, getting the rounds of heals, the Karma ultimate shield as well. So you have two champs that can shield the entire team in a team fight, and I totally agree with the point, right? If you can keep giving Graves and Aatrox these shields, letting them heal up, sustain, maybe Ahri's getting resets, the teams are very excited in the background. That's what happens when you do a live show, everybody. They can definitely take these fights, right? Ahri's getting resets, Aatrox is resetting, they're staying alive, but if a Thresh hook lands and boom, Draven Axe hits and they're dead instantly, all the shields in the world over 20 seconds are not going to save you from that.
Yeah, so it's important for the side of blue team to make sure to not lose early. If they do not hard lose early, they will have a chance to make the game last longer and be able to survive into the late game.
Yeah, I think it's important that people sort of recognize that also and not try to fight for too much early. If you know you're the scaling comp, you don't necessarily need to fight for that first dragon at 8 minutes or even the second dragon at 13 minutes. Your opponents have 1.5 items. They're sort of in their power spec. You can just give something up, trade it for a herald, trade it for a tower, and wait until you're actually strong in the game. And I think recognizing when you're strong as a team is really important for these players. Same for the red side, right? Knowing they have to put the foot on the pedal early before they get just outscaled and can't win fights.
Yeah, then with the jungler's pathing, it's I believe that blue side definitely doesn't want to go bot any. They want to
Yeah.
definitely try to get their Aatrox that lead.
Yeah, that makes sense. Ganking first Seraphine Karma does not seem like the most helpful thing. Maybe you're saying, hey, Graves, he's an AD carry. No, it's an AD carry and 2 supports. That's sort of like you're just ganking with a support. So that's not even good anyway. I agree with that. I think getting Hephaestus ahead in the top lane, if you can help Aatrox through this early matchup where Renekton is, sort of renowned to be strong early game, and that's been true for 10 years at this point.
Yeah.
If you can help Aatrox, get a kill or just not even lose the lane, stay even with a gank, maybe take a Herald, help out, take a couple plates, something like that, could be just a nice boost forward for Aatrox, but definitely one of the solo lanes is where you've got to be focusing if you are this Graves. Ganking 2 supports just seems like a sad time and a great way to get 2v3.
What do you think about the new mythics? Like with the Prowler's Claw changes, Renekton cannot go Prowler's Claw, at least cannot prioritize Prowler's Claw anymore. What do you think Renekton could be building this game?
I know very little about top lane.
You know very little about top lane.
I know a lot about AD carry, but I don't know a lot about top lane.
I'm thinking it's just going to go back to the Gore Drinker meta and just have Renekton build a sustain build, because Renekton does get outscaled if he goes the lethality one-shot build.
Yeah, I won't argue with that. I don't know enough to argue with that at all. So I'm just going to go thumbs up. That sounds great to me. If I knew more about AD carry, I would be a better caster. That was a very fast load into the game. We're going to now work a little spectator magic to make these things happen. But I think we're into the first game. One of 2 semifinals, like we've been saying. Let's get the frame rate off the screen. We don't need to know that. It's high enough. Let me zoom out, please. Please. Can I zoom out? All right, we're going to keep working on that. What are you seeing?
So right now I'm seeing that we are probably looking at a default 5-point for blue side. Red side's kind of stacking up on their blue buff just in case blue side decides to walk in a little at all.
Why can't
Graves is sitting right there in the vision spot so that if anybody walks up, they can surprise them.
Yeah, most
people would think they're in that pixel brush.
We also don't have player names, which is going to be very difficult for yours truly, but we see Swain get jumped on immediately. That's plan B, flashing over the wall. That probably was not his first plan, so he's living true to the name. Gets himself out of that situation. Renekton, the classic tri-bush battle, and Hephaestus wins that one pretty easily, saying, hey, this is my bush.
Yeah, Aatrox is doing really well trying to make sure that he keeps this early lead with Swain having no flash. That's going to be really nice for Ahri in lane.
Yes, it will.
While we fix these scoreboards here.
Yeah, I just got to move that around. You saw nothing here. It's the first game of the day. What else did you expect when you tuned in? Still can't zoom out, which is a major issue for later team fights. But we'll look to solve that as we go forward. But like you said, the summoner down, I feel like it just makes the lane a lot more comfortable. In that way, you can't get flashed on. You have a little bit more security for a couple of minutes, and it also makes it a lot easier to go forward for that kill. Maybe that's a target now for Mons and the Graves.
So it looks like Amumu is also pathing top lane. I guess Amumu is going to be looking to try to counter against the Graves, because obviously, as we explained earlier, Graves wants to be ganking top lane to get that Aatrox, that lead. And then Amumu will be there to counter gank and hopefully turn the fight.
Yeah, maybe we'll see some exciting fireworks. Charm
start on Ahri?
Yes.
All right.
Maybe
that was with the invade trying to catch the Swain off guard.
That's a great point. A lot of trading early. Pull back there in the mid lane. Talk taking a good amount of damage from the Swain. But everybody relatively even so far. Just that one summoner down. No major leads thus far, though we might see the first gank of the game. Tell a lie, we are seeing the first gank of the game. Mons is here. Plan B, no flash. We said Charm is going to connect. One more auto attack will be enough, and it is first blood for Mons, picking up the first kill of the championship here at Carthage College. Finds that enemy jungler not able to clean anything else up. 1-0.
Amumu trying to counter gank was not successful, and because of that, Amumu got low, and now his jungle camps are being taken care of.
Yes, they are losing out on some of that farm. Mons dominating control over the jungle. Looks to take the Raptors. Maybe didn't take them all. Maybe over towards the red buff. Not too sure exactly what he's taken, but wreaking havoc on the jungle and maybe coming around for the gank here on Mastercat.
Yeah, also bot lane's playing this lane. The blue side bot lane is playing this lane pretty well. They're poking out the Draven. Draven doesn't have too much sustain. The only sustain he has is from his Doran's Blade.
Here comes the dive into the tower. How can they do the dash out? Drops the aggro for Graves, but Aatrox in a lot of trouble. Hephaestus takes a couple of tower shots. It's a very successful tower defense there for Mastercat. Uses the Ignite, but still has the flash.
Amumu's now hovering topside just in case they try to enforce it again. With that, Graves is heading into
wow. Bottling the flash away from the Draven. The flash forward, though, from Sir Toby. The auto attacks picking it up for Skycode, as that is the 2v2 kill for the Seraphine Karma. We did not expect that.
Yeah, I wasn't actually looking at the fight right there. I was looking at the possible counter jungle from Graves on the Amumu, because Graves was on Amumu's red buff, but it looks like Draven stepped too far up, especially with the poke he had taken prior. He just did not respect the damage that they could have early, especially with Karma's RQ.
Yeah, it turns out the Mantra Q does a lot of damage
on
Karma, especially, I was going to say especially early on, but it feels like it hurts the whole time, pretty much, especially if you're a squishy. Base damages are very high. Level 5 hit here by Master Cat, but maybe going to find themselves in trouble. The counter gank is here from Warpo, but the counter gank is in from Mons. Graves is here, moving out, running for the hills. Warpo still has flash. Might have to use that summoner to get out of the smoke screen. He's saying, I can breathe again, I can see again, and I'm just fine, but summoner blown.
So that's exactly what I was talking about. I think Renekton set that gank up very poorly, though, just because Renekton wasn't respecting the fact that Aatrox currently has the lead in the lane.
Yeah, he sort of walked on the other side of Hephaestus and was like, fight me. Charm lands in the mid lane. Then we're seeing a fight. I got all excited for nothing. Talk has no mana. That's not going to lead to any kills, but it is some damage down on the Swain, who will be forced to go back.
Yeah, if Renekton stayed hovering towards the river, it would have gave Amumu more of a chance to help instead of let Renekton get too low for anything to happen, and that's why Graves was able to turn the entire thing around.
Turns it around. Small lead, I would say, excuse me, thus far for Wisconsin Lutheran. Up about 1,300 gold or so, a couple of kills. Some control, I would say, in most of the lanes. Bot lane maybe fighting back a little bit here for Elkhorn, but a pretty stable advantage. And this is the team that we said should be behind early on. So I think Elkhorn going to need to do some work to get back in this game.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a little bit rough for them, because I believe both Draven and Renekton to be early game champions. And with them being over 1,000 gold behind at 5 minutes in, it's already not a good look. But I think we will start to see more of the champions shine when around objectives.
Sure. Once we get around that first dragon, objective timer is not on the screen. That's a great reminder. We can probably make that happen. We definitely want to know when those are happening. There we go. But there is a fight. Well, I'm getting distracted. The hook goes down. Wholesome Cherry finding the kill. Draven gets a little bit of bonus gold in his pocket. That's exactly what we wanted to see earlier. You land that one hook, and it could be the kill. We're going to hold the thought as Mons is here to try to fight on the Thresh. Death Sentence goes a little bit wide, gets rooted up by the Seraphine, and that's going to be a counter kill. Graves finding that one. Both marksmen pick up one kill.
Yeah, that was a good play from Graves. He just made sure to not get hit by the hook. Getting hit by the hook means he gets hit by the flay, and then Draven might be able to land some extra damage. But Draven, that kill earlier was just really good for them. It's because of his passive, obviously.
Got some bonus gold. Gets himself a Sheen in the inventory. Looking to be a little bit scary. And Draven, once he gets that half item, once the Essence Reaver is completed, that's really when you can see that burst come out so much stronger. With him pressing the W, speeding himself forward. The axe is hitting down. It is the dragon. The objective timers, I spent so much time trying to get them up. They're gone again. Nobody knows, but the dragon's up right now. We know that, and it's being taken by Wisconsin Lutheran.
This is really scary to see that Wisconsin Lutheran is taking the dragon early, because Elkhorn has the early game power, but because they lost the fight, they just ended up not being able to take it. So now, them being even further behind, they might not have the chance to be able to take any later objectives.
Yeah, absolutely. You lose one, you can lose more if you get farther and farther behind. Tak almost has flash, does have ultimate available. Swain is in a lot of trouble here, I think. One ult, the Q, just the Q. Tak sniper finds plan B. Another solo kill in the lane.
Yeah, there with REQ, there's true damage on the return. So Swain probably wasn't expecting that damage all from one go, because he got hit at the peak of it.
That's true. Always feels worse to get hit at the same time. Death Sentence, though, speaking of getting hit, a flash away nicely done by Skycode, and the shield might be able to keep himself alive. No ultimate available. Well played by the support of Wisconsin Lutheran. I thought they were dead for sure.
Draven used the flash to get the speed up, so now he doesn't have that summoner, but Karma was forced to use her flash, so if Karma gets hooked again, she will 100% die.
Yeah, certainly will be gone. Also Draven likely to have the ultimate at that point. Even more damage being thrown on top of that here in the bot lane as Thresh does hit 6. Stable, but not super stable, I would say, for Sertobi and Skycode. They're surviving this lane, but I would not say they're thriving.
Amumu is trying to pick up some extra farm by counter jungling the Graves, but Ari was there to defend the camps. Good communication through the team.
Good communication, good teamwork. Just, willing to walk over, willing to take one for the team, lose a little bit of farm, but hey, you pick up the Raptors, you say, get out of here. Warple only level 5 on this Amumu. It seems like falling just a little bit far behind in farm, in XP. A few unsuccessful ganks, just not getting as many resources.
Yeah, with being under leveled, you can't really show up to objectives all that well.
Graves, the fight, Curse of the Sad Mummy is there, but the flash to follow. Collateral damage not available, doesn't even need it, just the dash to reset. One more in the chamber is enough. Picks up those double buffs. Warpo getting hunted in his own jungle.
Yeah, I think the reason why that happens is because they just don't have enough vision. They need to be placing certain vision. They need to be placing vision in certain places, especially against Graves. You want to be putting vision in where you could be dashing over walls. Most Graves do dash over pits.
Yeah, over the Baron pit, over the Dragon pit. Charm was a little bit wide, but it does not make any difference. Mons on a rampage, steals the kill from his mid laner, or perhaps secures the kill. Take your pick. Herald also secured there by the Wisconsin Lutheran jungle as they look to snowball this game.
This Graves being 4-0 at 10 minutes in the game is going to be very scary to deal with. They do have the lockdown CC, but that depends on if they have the damage to follow up for it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the 80 carry that Wisconsin Lutheran doesn't have, but the two supports make him even scarier, right? You have those extra shields, the speed from Karma as well, just buffing up this jungler. 4-0, likely has a significant amount of gold in his pocket, but we're going to have to hold the flash away from Mastercat getting run out of his own lane. Yeah, 1,800 gold in the pocket of Mons right now. A little bit more battle in the mid lane. Advantage toss goes in. Collateral damage backing Mons out of that fight. Amumu now forced to run for the hill. Corporal will do so. Back to the bot lane hook. Going to go on to Karma, flashing away. Ignite is there. Keeping herself alive again. The heal and the shields from these two supports proving to be a little bit too much to break through.
Yeah, Draven just needs that little extra gold to be able to destroy all those shields.
In the top lane, the creeps might be enough by themselves. I don't think quite so, but one more auto attack from Hephaestus should be enough. Tries to go a bit fancy-like. Flash from the tower. He is making a hot mess out of this one, as they say, but he does find the kill.
He could have
the
made
trade
it out.
That did not work out for Hephaestus.
He could have made it out if he just kept on walking. He didn't believe it. He didn't know the tower damage. He didn't know how much it had stacked up on himself. But if he just kept walking right out, he makes it out.
Yeah, the Triumph heal also there for him, too. Unfortunate. Not quite able to survive that play, but he found the kill. Better than trying to go for that dive 100% versus 5% and losing, which would be arguably worse. So we'll take it.
Yeah, that's also a plus for Aatrox because there is a wave underneath the tower. Renekton loses out on a bunch of XP, which secures Aatrox a little bit of an XP advantage.
That is a good point. Pull in on to Talk. Maybe a bait, maybe you try to get hit by it. We can give him the benefit of the doubt. Graves was there, but Mon's going to spawn the Herald and take down this tower. I like this Herald usage. 2 plates, the hardest plates to break. They will be taking the first tower here very shortly.
And they could go after Dragon after this play. Depends on when. Depends on if there's a fight afterwards or not.
Yeah, that is a great point. Dragon up in 10 seconds. It is the Hextech Drake that will be on next. Recall in for Graves. Ghostblade and most of the Collector as well. That is a huge recall for him.
That is crazy. The new mythic items, I'm not all too familiar with them, but Ghostblade being buffed, it's probably really good for Graves since he has even more movement speed.
Yeah, gives him the 25% move speed on active. It's 18 lethality flat on the item, and then once he stacks it up, so it's sort of like a first strike situation. He gets an additional, I think, 6 lethality at this point in the game, so he has like 35 lethality already at 12 minutes into the game, which is a scary thought against the Squishies. Dragon fight is in. Ultimate from Seraphine going to find 2. Dragon picked up by the red team, actually. Draven able to secure that flash curse with the Sad Mummy. A lot of damage coming across onto Wisconsin Lutheran. Graves is shut down by Amumu. They find 2 kills as well. Flashing over the wall is Sertobi to get himself out of that situation. The flash to follow by Wizardcraft seems a bit hasty in my mind. I don't think he's going to be able to find a whole lot else, but a great fight there for Elkhorn. They pick up the Dragon and the shutdown.
That is exactly what Elkhorn is looking for. They need to be at the objective first, being able to secure their position, and then they didn't respect the Amumu ult, and because of that, Draven was able to clean up the fight.
They may be down, but they were not out. They committed to that fight. You saw Warpo flash forward for the ultimate. They're saying, we're going to win this fight in a big way, and they got the shutdown. I didn't see who it went on to, but it may have gone over to Draven, which would be a big deal.
Draven is 2-1-1, which means he got one of the kills as well as an assist from that fight.
Yeah, and the stream decided it didn't want to play for a few minutes. That's nice. We got a little longer look at those abilities being cast.
Beautiful Draven skin.
Yeah, right on it. Wholesome Cherry taking the Dark Passage out to safety, as we might be about to see another dive in the top lane. Festus, the ultimate's available. Master Cat is not very healthy, but the Dominus gives some HP to make you a little bit harder to take down.
Graves is walking over there.
Look out. This is maybe not going to end well. The stand aside, very, very low. The smoke screen not quite able to find the kill. Collateral damage is up in a few seconds, but the Karma Q will secure the kill first. Thresh is saying, what do I do? What do I do? Not a whole lot to do. Spirit Rush in the top lane. Almost everything missed from Tok, but I'm confident they can find this kill. Dominus is procced. The flash forward, a little bit unnecessary in my mind from Tok, but they secure the kill. No repeat of earlier. Festus makes it out.
Yeah, the Renekton was probably banking on his bone plating coming up.
Hook lands under the tower, onto Graves. Could be in some trouble if he takes the tower aggro, but it is on Seraphine instead. Wizardcraft is the first to fall. The flash out from Mon, keeping himself safe. Back to the top lane. Swain is here, flashing away from that one. Summoners used across the board and generally in favor of Wisconsin Lutheran, looking very strong. Karma on the speed buff. The Q over the wall, bandage toss. Not entirely sure who's seeing what. Draven ult goes just a bit wide. I think everybody is calmed down for now.
Yeah, with that bandage toss, he's trying to catch Graves because Graves is clearing out his entire jungle. Moon is falling further and further behind. They really need to be set up for these objectives in order for Amumu to get back into the game. Draven is getting some form of lead against the enemy bot lane, but he still has to burst through all those shields. Trying to kill this team that's all about sustain with a burst ADC, it is not the greatest. It is not the most fun.
No, it's not great. Yeah, you go into your burst combo. Oh, he's not dead. I don't know what to do after that. Warpo around the objective, like we said, but all alone. No team there. Mons finds that one. Dodge away from Tok. The root goes down on the Everfrost, keeping himself safe. Renekton now forced to run for the hills. Graves has arrived, and the Ghost Blade is blocked for some extra speed, dodging away from the charm, but it does not make any difference. Plan B is going to have to go to C and D at this point. Taken down for the fourth time this game. Wisconsin Lutheran pick up the Herald as well. They are winning that objective fight.
Yeah, they thought they could stop them, but as soon as the Herald was taken by the blue side, you definitely do not want to stick around because after the objective's gone...
Oh, teleport behind the Seraphine ultimate. No chance for Wholesome Cherry. Maybe didn't even see that one coming. Wizardcraft throws down the box, running for the hills a little bit, but it will not survive for very long. A double kill picked up for Hephaestus, who says, hey, I want part of the action.
That was a good ward by whoever placed that ward because Aatrox definitely surprised them. Otherwise, they definitely would have backed off in time.
Dominus is procced, but collateral damage getting Mons out of the way. The dash forward and the auto attack, turning that fight on his assailant. Mons finds that one. The Herald spawned in the bot lane as well. Amumu in all sorts of trouble. Warpo just caught out of position. The auto attacks raining through. Skycodes will secure that one. Mons will get traded back to the top lane. Plan B able to pick up their first kill of the game, but the Herald and 3 members shoving in the bot lane.
Yeah, it looks like Swain's trying to get that Roa, which isn't the greatest when you're super far behind, but he just wants that scaling that Roa has in the item.
Yeah, it takes 10 minutes.
It looks like Renekton is going that Core Drinker build, so we're hoping that maybe he can sustain enough in fights to let Draven be able to kill whoever he needs to kill.
Might just be a little bit too little, too late. The Roa now picked up an inventory. It'll be 27 minutes on the clock before that is fully stacked. And this game might not be continuing at that point, right? It's a 8,000 gold lead at this point. Numbers are hard. 2 dragons, but 1 on each side. So no soul in the immediate future. Pod Dragon is up very shortly, but we'll see if they're able to scale late into the game. But that's not even the point for this team, right? They want to go early. They want to go fast. And the Roa just delaying until the other side is stronger.
Oakhorn doing a really good job making sure they're set up for the objectives. Grave is a little late because he wanted to grab his blue buff beforehand.
Yep.
Otherwise, they're looking to hopefully get a pick off to make it a 5v4 for this team fight for this objective.
That sentence landed. Definitely spooked him a little bit, you would imagine, but nothing really able to follow up there. Nice control ward, blocking out some of the vision. Posturing on the dragon. Mons is in the back, has the dash to get out of the pit, so not in a huge amount of danger. But the flash is available from Warpo. They could go for some sort of CC. They are trying to force Elkhorn off the dragon. There's the ultimate top. World Ender from Aatrox. The Mumu goes into the fight. First, Sad Mummy is able to find a 5-man stun. The first kill of the fight goes over in favor of Draven, but the Mumu is going to be the focus target. Dragon out of 2,000 HP. The Seraphine ultimate just a little bit too late as Elkhorn running rampant over this fight. The flash away, but it's 3 kills picked up for 1, and they secure the dragon. It's around this dragon objective that they are doing their best. We're getting stolen away by Sir Toby. What a fun cue. There was no smite. I guess Warpo was dead.
Holy
what a crazy fight. What do you have for us?
All right, so I was going to say that Elkhorn did a really good job because what Wizardcraft was doing was making sure that Cherry was not getting jumped on. So he was able to just get off as much damage as possible with his lethal tempo, and then all of a sudden, since the jungler was dead, they didn't respect the fact that Seraphine could be sticking around, and Seraphine just stole the dragon.
I think the control ward that we talked about earlier behind the dragon pit, they had no vision, I think, of Seraphine. Didn't think to check it. We've seen this movie before. I think we know how it ends. On this, the flash over the wall, maybe gonna get out. The flash to follow onto the Amumu, and that's going to be the end of days for the jungler. For Elkhorn, finding themselves going back to base in a body bag once again. But these dragon fights, overall, going pretty well for Elkhorn. It's exactly what we talked about in Champs. Like, that's the place where they thrive.
Yeah, Draven picked up the Infinity Edge. That's a new mythic item.
Yep.
He's going to be definitely much stronger, and they do want to keep the play slow.
Trying to go bid. We found a team fight. Speaking of keeping it slow, they are doing exactly the opposite. A couple of kills picked up. Mons in a killing spree. The shield from Karma, the mantra shield for everybody, saving him from the Eye of Sauron, but it's not going to be enough. The shutdown is in. That's picked up for Swain. Charm going to land onto Plan B. The auto attacks. Will he find the kill? Yes, they will. The flash forward in the queue and the heal from the passive, keeping them extra safe. Wholesome Cherry, no ultimate left to try to fight, but they may still look to go for something over the wall. Goes Hephaestus, got to keep the Draven alive. He's going to get pulled back by that Aatrox E, but he keeps himself alive, able to survive barely, but 4 against 2. The defense, this is not going to go well. Even if you have a Mumu ult soon, I don't think this is a defendable tower.
Yeah, they had no vision of blue team. Elkhorn did not respect the fact that blue team wasn't on the map anywhere and that they could all just be sitting right there. So because of that, they ended up dying. And like I had mentioned earlier, they want to be setting up for objectives. They are not caught up enough to be able to contest these small skirmishes.
Yeah, contesting random 2v2s is not how this team works, right? You want that Amumu ult to go in. We've seen both dragon fights, a 4 and a 5-man Amumu ult, right? That's not something you see every day. Well played by Warpo, but that's how they're able to win these fights, right? You get that across, you have the box going down, Draven ultimate, and you just get some time to spin those axes out with Wizardcraft keeping him safe. In a 2v2 skirmish, you're just going to get one shot by Mons, as we've sort of seen over and over again. There's the smoke screen, there's the speed, and Wizardcraft doesn't have enough friends to really keep himself safe for now. They just have to they're forced to retreat and give more ground.
Bramblevest saving Thresh. Thresh only took half of his HP because Draven is really, or Graves is really fed.
Yep.
But Thresh wasn't taking much damage. He's counter building the Graves only, but that's also good for the Aatrox really. So trying to take a bit of their sustain down.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Graves, if we look at the items, it's lethality, 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 right? Coming across, Bramblevest, a little bit of armor. Only took half his health, right? He still took a lot of damage, of course, but it's not the one shot that we've been seeing from Mons throughout the game. The highest level, I do believe, level 14. Starting up the Baron. Is he starting it? Is he playing with it? Nobody knows. Looks like they are actually going to start this one up. Plan B is not here, and so that makes this relatively uncontestable without the Swain. Draven ult goes across too. Don't think this is something that they can really look to fight for in a serious way. Might have to just give it up.
Yeah, they don't have everybody here. Swain's in the bot lane. They can't contest at all. So that's a good job for them holding back. So now what they need to do is just defend their inhibitors, because the towers on the outer lanes are already at half HP with Baron buff. Those towers are gone within 2 seconds.
Yeah, they absolutely are. Defend the base, defend the inhibitor. Maybe look for a pick onto this Graves. Collateral damage is available. A nice dodge, a great outplay onto Master Cat. The Crocodile is just cut down immediately.
Yeah, that was a lot of damage coming out from Graves. Renekton only has plated steel caps. He has no armor against Graves. Graves, we will one-shot him.
Yeah, there's a lot of lethality, and there's a lot of damage. There's a lot of lethality. There's a lot of sustain. With the Bloodthirster here for Maz, that sentence goes a little bit short, and this is just not a tower you can try to defend. That's what you're saying a minute ago. You want to just stay in the base, turtle in the base, and wait and try to defend against these Baron creeps.
Yeah, the unfortunate part is red team does not have the wave clear to defend against the Baron minions. So that is going to be quite rough for them. Because I was hoping that Swain was going to go Leandries, just because they don't have the wave clear they need to be able to defend in case they fall behind.
Yeah, that makes all the sense in the world to me. There's no Ziggs, there's no Orianna or something that can just clear out these creeps over and over again. The old joke, if there's a Ziggs in the game, you can't end the game before 50 minutes. I don't remember the last time I saw a game go 50 minutes in today's day and age, but the point still stands. Dragon picked up Cloud Drake, Soul, the charm was just a bit short. Spirit Rush forward from the R. They don't find anybody just yet. Aatrox going in the engage onto Renekton, gets charmed up, Graves over the wall. An immediate one-shot onto Draven, and that spells almost certain doom for Alcorn in this fight. Double kill picked up for Aatrox. They're going to look for a little bit more. The flashes forward. Mons finds total of 4 in the fight. A triple kill picked up for Hephaestus, and certainly this will be the end of the game. Hunter pushing in the mid lane. 5 against 1. Orpo still has the ultimate, but that doesn't make a whole lot of difference. He's going to get taken out very, very quickly, and the push will come through. Wisconsin Lutheran taking game number 1.
Yeah, before that fight, there was not a whole lot they could do. I mean, they were 12,000 gold down. They had to do something, so they made a desperate play to hopefully save the game, and they just got jumped on first.
Yeah, got to try something, right? It's like, going for a random Baron call. It's probably not going to work, but you have to go for it if you're actually going to win the game. They got to do something. They were not able to do so, and in the end, they fall in game number 1, but it is a best of 3, so they have a chance to come back from this. We're not playing Teamfight Tactics right now. That's not the show that we're on. Maybe that's another day, but it is game 1 going in favor of Wisconsin Lutheran. Elkhorn, how do you want them to fight back going into game number 2?
Elkhorn should definitely rethink how they want to play the game. They had a solid plan going in. They didn't execute it well. What they could do is they could run it back with the same thing, maybe have another champion to help them scale into the late game. I don't agree with Renekton being in the top lane if they have a very early bot lane. And then Swain just not doing well against the RE. Maybe they should look towards shutting down the top lane.
Yeah, makes all the sense in the world to me. Shutting down the top lane, see what they can do about Mons as well. We're going to take a short break as we get all set for number 2. The players are back with their coaches having a little bit of conversation. We will return in just a few minutes with the continuation of this series. Don't go away.
never looked back.
Welcome back, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, to Valorant State Esports Spring Championship. It's the semifinals for League of Legends Wisconsin Lutheran. Dominant win in game number 1 up against Elkhorn. The teams have switched sides, and we're set for game number 2. They're already reacting about the draft. I'm Carl, still joined by Hunter. How's it going?
It's going all right. Game 1 was definitely one-sided. We're hoping to see a different game plan from Elkhorn for this. It's their last game of the season. We're hoping to see something spicy from them. Maybe they can gather up a win.
It's potentially their last game of the season, after all.
Potentially, yes. My
Gotta
bad.
say that. It did look pretty dominant in game number 1, but we don't want to hatch the eggs. Something about a chicken and eggs before they hatch. No one's too sure about that one. Count your chickens before they hatch. I think that's the saying. We see some new bans have come out from Elkhorn saying no more Graves, no more Seraphine.
Yeah, Graves was just way too strong. Got an early lead, did exactly what they needed to do. They didn't know how to stop it. Seraphine made it so that Draven could not get any lead early game.
Maybe just trying to force. I like it. Trying to force some sort of, more normal bot lane where we have an AD carry, a normal support. We can actually just go head to head instead of a, Seraphine Karma situation where you just stand back and don't really engage and go in.
Yeah, we got the Blitzcrank, which is good for poke comps. And then we got the Alistar to counter it. And then with the Nico, this is the new Nico.
One of the most frustrating champions I've ever cast in my life is this new Nico because, it's, unlike the mid laner who's like sort of watching the whole time, you flip back and there's just a lane of creeps. And you're like, oh, she's not here. Oh, there she is. Very surprising. There's the Jhin. I want to jump to that point really quick. Jhin, one of the main beneficiaries of these AD carry item changes. Storm Razor on Jhin obviously synergizes super, super well. It's not a slow anymore. It gives movement speed to the person doing the auto attack. Great for Jhin. This, I think, is a very strong lane. Hecarim, a lot more aggressive. In my line from Elkhorn, it's sort of a different kind of aggressive. They're a strong AD carry, a fast jungler. They're going for the hooks. I think they're recommitting to the all-in stuff.
Yeah, it's just I don't necessarily like the Hecarim
No cure for fools.
just because like Blitzcrank and Jhin wants to sit back and try to get one person off at a time. Hecarim wants to go in and disrupt a big team fight.
That's a good point. The synergy maybe not there. The idea is kind of we're going to do big damage, but Blitz and Jhin want you to come into us. I want to pull you in, and Hecarim wants to go to you. It's a great point. Maybe not the most synergy in the world. Alistar, also beefy boy, literally. To try to counteract Blitzcrank and lane. If you grab the Alistar, maybe you're doing yourself more harm than good if it opens him up a pathway onto this Jhin.
Kindred was picked as the counter to Hecarim. It's a pretty normal counter pick when it comes to competitive and solo queue as well. So maybe these junglers are both comfortable on the champions that they're playing. Ezreal picked up for Wisconsin Lutheran. They definitely want to stay safe and stay clear of that Blitzcrank hook.
Yeah, you can buffer with the Ezreal E, right? If you get grabbed, but you don't get grabbed. So that's always fun. Pretty nice window for that. Ezreal also a reasonable beneficiary. We're going to talk about that in a sec. A pretty good beneficiary of the recent changes as well. The Trinity Force, the Quick Blades, now both getting a little bit stronger. So Ezreal, pretty strong champ. Generally pretty strong meta champions across the board. Maybe the Hecarim a little bit strange, and Nautilus. Yeah. We're all reacting to that. It's got to be Nautilus mid.
Yeah, right? That is a Nautilus mid pick. We've seen it at MSI.
Baker Specials.
We've seen it played on the pro scene. Here we are seeing it in the Wisconsin high school scene. The Nautilus mid with the Dr. Mundo. I'm loving these picks. We have tanks. I am a tank beneficiary. I love tanks. I'm so excited.
We were talking during the break that you are an Ornn one trick.
I am an Ornn.
We saw the Ornn hover. It was so close.
I was so excited. I almost jumped.
How do you feel about Mundo Cassante? Fan of those picks in general?
I do like the Mundo. The Mundo is able to kind of just exist and be as a meat shield so that Jhin has something to stay behind. Jhin has a lot of frontline for him to stay behind. Cassante, on the other hand, Cassante likes to go in, disrupt that front line, and do a lot of damage. Cassante, against the Mundo matchup, Cassante, I believe, kind of just abuses the Mundo just because he has lower cooldowns.
Sure.
He's able to output a lot more damage, although Mundo does have the HP damage on his Q.
This is a very strong front line. Picked up for Elkhorn. Mundo, Hecarim, basically 4, not necessarily tanks, but 4 tanky people and then the one Jin just kind of sitting way in the back with the ultimate. I'm curious, how do you feel about Lutheran's chances at sort of breaking through all of this just HP tankiness in the front line?
I think Wisconsin Lutheran has a really good chance to be able to disrupt what Elkhorn has planned, because if Blitzcrank hooks, Nautilus hooks, any of the front line, Cassante, Alistar, they are able to do anything. Because Alistar can knock up more than one person at a time and then push somebody away, push somebody towards the team. Like, they want to be hooked into that team.
Yep. I'm also concerned about Elkhorn's comp, especially if Jin is behind, if Jin gets one shot, something goes wrong with his Jin, I'm not seeing a ton of damage. Right? Nautilus mid, I'm not imagining he's going to be carrying a team fight. Hecarim can do a lot if he's ahead, but I'm concerned for the damage if the Jin goes down early.
Yeah, they have no AP damage on the Elkhorn. Yep. Nautilus normally goes Abyssal Mask first, which is going to be fine for the lane because he's up against Nico, but that's still not enough AP damage as the output. I wonder what build Hecarim is going to go with the new items. I'm probably predicting seeing the lethality Hecarim.
Sure. Go for the one shot. There's, Kindred, Nico, Ezreal, all very viable targets for a high damage horse. And they kind of need a little bit more damage, but like you said, it is all going to be physical. Maybe you're picking up, an extra Ninja Tabby. Sorry, they're actually called plated steel caps. Now everybody still haven't gotten over that one. But Alistar, Cassante, a little bit tankier. It's just easier to itemize for a mix of tank and damage if you only have one kind of damage to build tankiness against. If you can pick up like the Bramble Vest we saw last game, a sort of similar example against all physical damage, really can blunt a lot of that. So I'm interested to see, especially if they get ahead, if they struggle on the damage type, if Alistar and Cassante are really in that front line.
Warden's Mail is going to be a good item for Cassante or Alistar to pick up. They definitely want to get the Randuins to make sure the Jin does not do as much damage as he wants. And then with the Nico, this being the new Nico, I am actually the one that allowed it continued into the rest of the season. And I didn't think it was going to be too powerful, just because all they did was change the utility on her R, and then the fact that she's able to change into more things around the map.
So we'll blame you if it goes wrong.
We can blame me for this match.
I think she's fun. I mean, I think she's not. She feels very new, but at core, she's the same champion.
That's what I believe. So I told Mike to tell everyone to keep Nico in the competition.
I think personally, I think that's an acceptable choice. I still haven't gotten used to the fact the ultimate knocks you up first. I keep not dodging in time, and then I'm like, oh, I don't have more time. But it doesn't actually make any difference, right? It's not that different of an ability as we get to go play with the spectator settings again. My favorite. Let me in. Let me do it. All right, we're going to figure out how to zoom out. But I'm going to add the timers. We don't need the chat. We need the scoreboard. We don't need the time controls. Our ping's already gone, so we're really cooking. And we're not going out. It's not happening. How do I get the names on the board? Say something interesting for us while I fiddle with the settings.
It would be interface, I believe. Show names above health bar, champion name, or summoner.
Oh, all right. We've done it. We've done it. We're on to the game. Oh, we got to move where everybody is. That's not where they go. I'm going to figure it out. I've played the game before, I promise. They're already in order. Wisconsin Lutheran, my new favorite team.
They are on top of getting into that LCS order in Champ Select.
What I'm noticing is we've had a position switch in that the Blitzcrank is mid and the Nautilus is the support.
Oh. All right, AP Blitzcrank.
I was going to say, I almost said that they switched roles, the players, when I was looking at the names, but no, it's Blitzcrank mid.
All right, this is
familiar.
Spicy indeed. This is spicy. Well, I have seen this before.
Okay.
I faced it when I was playing in high school. What we want from this Blitzcrank is to roam. Blitzcrank needs to roam, land the Qs. That way we can get this lead early.
Sure. Interesting. So it's sort of it's not about you, it's about everybody else.
Yes.
Got it. I'm reminded
Like,
of
you will do enough burst
Sure.
damage late game. It doesn't matter. What you want is to be able to roam and get your team ahead.
Interesting. It sort of serves the same, right? The Nautilus mid is a similar kind of, utility get tanky. I don't know. I mean, it's fun, and I'm excited about that. We were promised some fun things from Elkhorn by Mike during the break, and I think this counts.
Yes, I'm really excited. I'm hoping to see Plan B be able to capitalize on this pick, because facing something that's not meta, you don't know what to do against it.
Sure.
So there could be that surprise factor, and not knowing what to do against it, you just lose.
Flash in the bot lane from Skycode, not hitting level 2 quite in time though. Couldn't go for the pulverize and the knockback, and some nice fancy feet by Cherry running around. Wizardcraft for the CC, and they survive. That flash taken out by Skycode, but Warpo running for the hills. Mons once again looking dominant. But here comes Plan B. That's the similar roam that you wanted to see. Q is going to reset, but I think that blue buff should be safe. They can always pull it over the wall.
Yeah, Kindred's doing exactly what
In the bot lane, though, we're going back down there. Skycode is ignited. The Q is on. Dancing Grenade will set up the ignite to take the kill. Wizardcraft finds first blood.
Yeah, as I was saying before, Kindred's doing exactly what she needs to do. The team is playing well around Kindred. Kindred needs to get this early lead, get her marks whenever she can. She probably has the Hecarim marked, so that in case she caught the Hecarim off guard, Hecarim would start losing the game.
Sure. Yeah, your most likely early kill. Makes sense to me, finding that. Both junglers at 4 camps this far, but Kindred able to find the Scuttle Crab on the way out as well.
Kindred's going to be hoping to get that bottom scuttle as well, because that's where her first mark is.
Sure.
Hecarim backed and got a longsword.
Collapsing on that Scuttle Crab immediately is the side of Elkhorn. But Mons is in the bush. Might be about to see our first sort of big team fight. Hook goes wide, but they've got a second hook to knock up onto the Kindred. Mons taken down very quickly. Plan B, I should say, finds that kill as Elkhorn looking to fight back in the series right now. 1,000 gold up.
Yeah, Elkhorn is not playing around. They definitely want to make sure they get a lead early game. Especially, like I said, with this Blitzcrank, you just run around, you try to get your team ahead, and then you just become a nuisance yourself later on. Because of that, Kindred was not able to get her mark, and Hecarim is now countered jungle.
Yeah, absolutely. No mark picked up. Warpo there, but we might see a little bit more of a fight. Running himself out. The Ghost is on, but the Nico is here. Mons finding the kill back on the enemy jungler. Wizardcraft forces flash of the wall. Plan B, nothing to do but watch as a kill back for Lutheran.
Was not respecting the respawn timers. Hecarim gets caught out, ends up dying because Nico is first roam, since Nico is shoving the Blitzcrank in. That's the one thing rough about Blitzcrank. Blitzcrank has no wave clear.
Yeah. Even once you have the ultimate, you have minimal wave clear. If you have enough AP, you can sort of clear those creeps out. But this early on, it is one punch at a time on the minion wave, and it's not going to work out. Skycode, this might work out over the tower, but can you just grab him back in? Besides against it, everybody just walks away.
Yeah, it looks like both junglers are still trying to path top lane, which isn't exactly what you want, because you want to be getting this dragon. You want to be getting these dragons early, because it's dual tank top lane. There's not going to be a whole lot going on, especially with a Mundo. He's not going to be tanking a whole lot, or he's not going to be taking a whole lot of damage, especially up against someone whose CC he can counter.
Yes, indeed. We saw the hook under the tower, forcing the flash out of talk. Very low CS numbers in the mid lane thus far. 14 versus 27. They have been roaming. There goes my pen again. It's a classic Carl move.
Just dropping your pen over and over. Here we got Kindred trying to see if they can catch the Hecarim off guard by going to the mark from behind.
Oh, the ultimate though, over the wall, and the Hecarim is there. Cassante turns this into a 2v2 very quickly, but Festus taken down straight away. Master Cat finding that one. Mons jumping over the wall. They have no way to get over the wall, but it's maximum dosage from Master Cat. But the jump, Mons not quite able to find the kill. Back over the wall again. The briefcase is going to land one more from Master Cat. Throws the ward. He has the vision. Does not have the mid laner, but the jump over the wall, I think, will be enough from Mons. Got to land it, though. You can mess it up. Oh, from downtown. Touchdown, Wisconsin. but it's touchdown Elcord on the briefcase with the cleaver. Mastercat finding that one.
It's crazy.
That was pretty insane. Back to the bot lane.
That's exactly what I was talking
Wizardcraft,
about.
what you said earlier, we see it in action. Walking the walk, Sir Toby finding that kill as that hook basically just led him to his death.
Yeah, that is. You do not want to be making plays against an Alistar so close to the tower because that's pretty much.
We can hear ourselves. It's still exciting the next time on the monitor as now it's Streamception.
But yeah, that's not what you want to be doing against Alistar. So now they're going to be losing the early game in the bot lane. Ezreal building those damage items, Jhin getting the boots of Swifty first. They have different priorities for their items.
Plan B and talk. Who's fighting who? The flash punch could be the answer. Does he have it available? Yes, he does. One more auto attack should be enough. It's a solo Blitzcrank kill in the mid lane. That I did not expect to see today, Hunter.
Yeah, the Blitzcrank has a lot of damage. The Blitzcrank has a lot of damage. His AP scalings are really nice. Kindred's going after a mark. It looks like Hecarim tried contesting, but Kindred gets it anyways. It looks Jin's trying to reset, which means red side has the advantage on the bot side of the map, which means Dragon could be a potential play here.
Jhin goes back not to buy a whole lot, the Character Shard and the Longsword, both damage items now. Character Shard does not give attack speed anymore, which still confuses me. But giving a lot of priority away in the bot lane. Hecarim sort of forced off level 5 versus level 6, just no way to fight against the Kindred with that ultimate available.
Instead of going for the Dragon, they went for a plate mid, which is perfectly respectable. Just getting gold, helping Nico try to get back into the game. As of right now, Nico is definitely behind the Blitzcrank in terms of gold.
Yep. That's not a sentence I expected to say today, but it is one that I did say. So sometimes that's just how it goes. I'm concerned for Warpo on the Hecarim right now. Still level 5, been forced out of the jungle. Another mark picked up for Kindred over there. Maybe they're able to trade this back for the Dragon, but I'm just worried about this XP. It just seems like they're falling behind Mons and the Kindred yet again.
Yeah, Hecarim is known as a ganking jungler, but the thing is, you can't just spend all of your time ganking, getting nothing done, and then still not farm.
Yeah, it's tough to be a ganking jungler. The ganks have to work if you're going to gank over and over again. Ganking over and over again and not finding kills, very, very hard. The Herald traded there as well, so, you know, objectively, a pretty even trade. The Dragon for the Herald. The Kindred picked up her mark as well. Overall looks pretty strong and pretty set here on this Kindred. I don't know if we can see how many marks we have. It's 3 marks thus far on the Kindred.
Yeah, I think the reason why Hecarim is behind is because Hecarim decided to path top lane. When pathing top lane as a ganking jungler, you want it to be a good matchup that you can gank. If it's a tank you're ganking with a tank that doesn't have a whole lot of CC on your team, that's not the greatest place to gank. So you definitely want to be pathing bot lane this game. Yep. But maybe Hecarim wanted to match the Kindred just in case Kindred planned on marking Mundo or something. Like I really don't understand the game plan here.
Picking up the blue buff again. Yeah, the Hecarim just seems a little bit behind the curve of this one, sort of following up. The jungle, it's gone, already been countered away. I agree, the bot lane, or the mid lane even, sort of the place to gank. That's where you have that CC. Hard to gank for a Mundo, right? You have Cleaver slows, but you don't have that hard, you know, I can press R on you as Nautilus and find that. But back to the bot lane, Wholesome Cherry is almost certainly dead. I would be stunned if they survive this one. The flash is available. They go for it, but I think that's just going to be a wasted summoner spell. Sir Toby finding that kill.
Yeah, it looks like they just didn't have enough vision. This is what I mentioned last game. Elcord needs to get this vision down so they know where
this Mundo damage is no joke. Here on the Mundo, ultimate out from Cassante to escape this, but very, very low goes Hephaestus. Maximum dosage, it turns out, is a pretty strong skill. Both ultimates used there. Cassante forced off.
I feel like Mundo definitely could have chased. Mundo has AP damage. Cassante's going the armor item.
Oh.
Yeah,
had the flash as well.
Mundo had his R charging. There's plenty of opportunities there. He probably didn't want to give up a shutdown that he had at the time. Now that the gold swing has changed.
I don't know if you win this. Holy damage flashing away, but one more cleaver will find the kill. Mastercat, a lot of people took more damage in that fight than I thought they would, sort of just collectively, but everybody stays alive, and everybody almost dies.
Just a lot of damage. Yeah. A lot of damage from everybody. Israel almost has Muramana.
Yeah. Stacking very well so far. This is a relatively fast stack. 12 minutes in. He's probably 4 or 5 minutes away from that being stacked. We'll see how fast those auto attacks come through. But it was the Storm Razor completed for Mons, is why that damage was so high on the Kindred, able to find those crits.
Blitzcrank having 38 CS though, he needs to be ganking, he needs to be roaming. He's not farming very well in the mid lane. Now that he's not on the map, their team has been slowing down, their team has been falling behind. That Blitzcrank really needs to get on the map.
Right, this Blitzcrank, it's not really a laning pick, right? You're not picking this to actually play Blitzcrank and lane it, like you're saying. You want to have that to just farm up a little bit, but then roam, run top, grab the Cassante, run bot, grab the Ezreal, something like that. Help out your teammates, and then losing the tower like this is maybe fine if your team's gotten 4 or 5 kills from it. But instead, you lose the tower and you've sort of just been in lane the whole time. It's not quite as effective.
It looks like blue team here is trying to make something happen. There isn't an objective up, so they really should just be matching their laners. They don't see where Kindred is.
Yep.
They have plenty of wards on the top side of the map though.
Yeah, a lot of vision here for Mastercat, keeping themselves safe. Up 20 CS, give or take, on the Cassante. A relatively healthy lane here for the Mundo. 2 kills, Heartsteel completed. No real issues here in this 1v1 for him, grabbing those stacks.
And
scaling
Mundo's
up.
really enjoying this game.
Yes.
He has ways to survive. He's done perfectly well in lane. He's just trying to make sure that Cassante doesn't get as much gold as he wants him to get.
Yeah, onto the tower now. Forces the TP out of Hephaestus. So that will not be up for both of those top winners. Dragon up in 25 seconds. Jin maybe has Storm Racer gold in his pocket. Yes, he does. Has to get that recall off very, very quickly. They might even still be a little bit late. There's Mastercat under the tower with the ultimate maximum dosage is on. He is healing himself up. Gets knocked back in by Hephaestus. The HP battle is on. I think Mastercat can still win this, though. The HP just continues to grow. Can he land the cleavers? It's off now, and he's not able to find the kill. My optimism proved to be a mistake. Hephaestus finds the kill on the Cassante.
Cassante's ult gives him Omnivamp. So when he ults, he heals off of all of the abilities that he goes. So it truly was a sustained battle.
Oh, yeah.
And Cassante just wins that because of his cooldowns. He has less cooldowns,
sure.
He has more abilities to use.
That's what you said in Champ Select. Right there, lower cooldowns, and the maximum dosage sort of wore off, and the healing started going in favor of Hephaestus, and it worked out. Might turn our attention down to the Dragon. You grab the POW, but it's not going to be enough. The Alistar over the wall, but it doesn't make any difference. Warpo is in with the ultimate, but he's just going to get cut down. Mons finds that one. Wholesome Cherry in the middle of the team. The 4th shot from Jin, not going to be enough. The root is down onto the AD carry. Tok finds that kill as well. The Kindred will finally fall, but it is not enough of a trade back in my mind. Blitzcrank running desperately, trying to find a bit of solace here on the Blast Cone, but I think Sir Toby will be shifting over the wall. The one more auto attack will be enough. Killing spree for the Ezreal. Top lane tower goes down as well. Wisconsin Lutheran, this time, able to find the Dragon fight.
The idea was good from Elkhorn. They just did not execute it well. They should have played the fight slower. They should have played to peel their Jin. They have Nautilus. They have Blitzcrank.
Yep.
They need to sit back and they need to play for the catch. They need to catch somebody out. They can't go in. I saw Jin in the middle of their team. No protection from anybody.
Yeah, not able to stay back, not able to get the ult off. Flash will be back for the Jin, but a very disjointed fight in my mind. They grab the Alistar over the wall, the Hecarim sort of goes in, but the Jin's also in the middle of the team. You don't have the Mundo there, who's probably one of your strongest members. It was Wizardcraft just not able to keep the AD carry safe. So I agree. I think the idea was great. You can play slow, you can poke, look for a hook, but instead you grab the other tank, you sort of commit without a lot of backup. It just didn't quite work out for them. But the Dragon is still on the table.
Yeah, what we're looking for is going to be a little rough because red side has the HP advantage. Jin is half HP.
That's not good.
But that's exactly what I want out of Elkhorn. They need to be looking for these picks.
They still want to do the Dragon. They're still trying to do the Dragon because Hecarim is top lane. I don't know how that happened, but it looks like it will be the Dragon picked up for Wisconsin Lutheran, and it may be at the cost of Hephaestus' life. No flash, of course, doesn't even have the summoner, and he will escape. Warpo, the trip to the top lane, not bearing a lot of fruit. They do get the shutdown on the Ezreal, but they can see the dragon.
Yeah, they got the shutdown on Ezreal. They lose the dragon. They don't even get the kill top lane. Overall, that is a pretty negative play for Elkhorn. It's good for whoever got the shutdown, but bad for the rest of the team.
Yeah, Herald spawn in the mid lane. Mons, the main person defending this tower, able to find the kill on Wizardcraft. They're trying to go for the dive onto this Kindred. The tower is still alive. A double kill for the Kindred. Ultimate is still there as well if anybody gets low, as disaster strikes for Elkhorn. They take the tower, but everybody loses their life.
Worst case scenario, they did not expect the Nautilus was not respecting the Kindred, and therefore Nautilus dies, and then the fight becomes disjointed.
Oh, good night, sweet prince. Wholesome Cherry goes to the flash. Will not matter. Mons on a killing spree.
That's one Kindred mark. We saw the Kindred's animation consuming the mark.
He's got 6 of them.
And then just got another mark off of Krug, so that's the 7th mark already, 17 minutes into the game.
It's the second upgrade point as well for her. Mons maybe in some trouble now. Wizard. Oh, away from that, but the Hecarim will go in. No ultimate yet available. Mons kiting backward in a 1 versus 3 situation, but her team is coming. Lamster's Bite is still available to buy some time. It gets knocked up, but they are not able to get that summoner or the ultimate off in time. Nico ult will find the stun onto the Blitzcrank as 2 kills picked up on the other side.
Red team just has the advantage. They're able to back up the Kindred despite Kindred dying. Kindred is just CC'd the entire time, but the red team still is able to clean up. They just have too much gold. Like I said earlier, we wanted the Blitzcrank to roam. Blitzcrank is not a farming champion.
No.
Because of that, they're fighting what some would call a 4v5 because it's just harder to play this game.
And if the Lamster's Spite went off, you imagine that would have gone even better for Wisconsin Lutheran. It was the Blitzcrank silence and then the knockup, just not able to cast the ultimate in time, but kiting for so long. The Gale Force now completed as well. The Mythic in their pocket, even stronger. The real story so far, I think, of this series is just Mons carrying out of the jungle game after game. Looks very strong there.
Yeah, Mons is playing this really well. He is using his knowledge of the game to the best that he can. He's playing this game really well.
And Caster Curse, as you say it, is Lamster's Spite able to get off. We'll see what they're able to do. Alistar is in. Mons trying to kite away up to about 300 HP. Finds 1 kill before they potentially go down. They might get out of it. It was Caster counter curse.
No
Mons survives that fight somehow. Master Cat trying to do his best with the snipe with the ultimate from Jid, and everything we say turned out to not be true.
Goodness.
Double kill picked up from Cassandra. Back to the mid lane. Nico with the ultimate. Wholesome Cherry trying to keep himself safe. Jump forward from Cassandra. You can't fight that, sir. You've got to run for the hills. The Q is not going to pick up the Jin. As what did we just watch?
What even happened? The Alistar passive saved Kindred as long as he could, and I'm assuming Kindred has Triumph. So after getting a kill, Kindred healed a little bit more and almost survived the entire fight.
Every time we said she was dead, she survived, and as soon as we said she was out, she died immediately. So
holy,
that was fascinating to watch. It was almost the perfect Caster Curse. You're like, he's so good. He's cooking. He's killing everybody. Boom, caught out.
That was a crazy sequence.
I'm thinking single digits on HP when he got the ult off. He was very low.
That was really
impressive.
crazy.
Yeah, but it was fun to see. Gale Force still up, by the way. Maybe he didn't use it. I'm pretty sure it's still like a 2-minute cooldown.
Yeah, it's broken.
No one knows.
It's a pretty long cooldown, but I couldn't say for sure whether Kindred had it up or not. Maybe Kindred didn't expect the Jin ult.
Oh no, not the place that you want to be, Wizardcraft. No real way out either, Mons.
We have a blue trinket on Mundo for top lane. I also like seeing blue trinket on ADCs as well, just because, well, having more than one blue trinket allows you to scout out for longer.
Always buy the blue trinket on the AD carry. Then you don't have to worry about warding, too. You just check the Baron every so often, and it's one less responsibility for your silly AD carry that doesn't want to play the game.
Yeah.
AD carry is never warded. We're just not very good at it. Baron picked up for Wisconsin Lutheran, looking potentially like only a matter of time at this point. 10,000 gold, a little bit more than that. 10,400 gold in favor of this team trying to close out the series and book their ticket to the grand finals later today.
Yeah, the Elkhorn really needs to do something. They had a plan, they executed it kind of well, but they just haven't been able to play it together as well as they've
up over the wall. Plan B going to be the first casualty. You'd have to feel. Yes, indeed. But into the back line goes Warpo immediately. Going to get taken down. Cherry a little too far forward as well. That's the third kill of the fight. It's basically just a counting exercise now. Wizardcraft throws in the towel and says, no, thank you. I don't want to try anymore. 4-0 in this fight. Wisconsin Lutheran looking very likely to end the game.
They have Baron minions. They have the 12k gold lead. It's looking like this is going to be the final push here. Their tanks are tanky enough to tank the towers so that minions don't have to.
Minions don't even need to. They pick up the kill onto Master Cat. The respawns are in. Will they just go to get another wave of creeps, or will they back themselves off? It looks like they're going for the back off.
Looks like they're playing this safe. Looks like they're playing this game safe. They want to guarantee that they can end without possibility of throwing their lead. They really need, Elkhorn really needs to be able to pick somebody off. They need this Blitzcrank to make a play somewhere. They need to do what we mentioned last game. They need to make a play to try to save the game. They need something. They need anything.
Yes, indeed. We saw the hook earlier from Plan B onto Ezreal for that dragon play. Something like that, right? You just get a clean pick on a carry, boom, blow him up, done. Take him off the map, and we just have not seen that thus far.
The thing that's rough about being so far behind is you can't get as much vision as you would like. This is exactly where the blue trinkets come in handy. Yep, the long-range vision.
Into the back line goes Mons, finds the first kill. Lancers fight. Will they have time to get it off? Yes, they will. Kindred able to keep himself alive. Festus is now here to help in the 3 versus 2 situation. Over the wall goes to Kindred, finds the second kill, Triumph to heal, but it will get shut down. Kindred taken out by Master Cat, who's now locked in a fight with his top-laned rival. Talk is here as well. Mundo, can they fight back? Can they do anything to save the game? It does not look like they can. They'll be the last casualty, and that is going to be Wisconsin Lutheran punching their ticket to the grand finals. They take a 2-0 here over Elkhorn.
Elkhorn had a plan. They just couldn't execute it. Both games, the plan was solid. They just weren't able to. Because of that, Wisconsin Lutheran was able to make use of countering their mistakes, and they just win the game overall.
Able to win the game. Lutheran overall, just a very, very strong performance, especially in the mid-top positions. A ton of damage, as you can see on the screen right now. Played very, very well. Excited to see them go again later today in the grand finals. Commiserations to Elkhorn, of course, as their season is now over. But a fascinating set of games and a lot of very close Kindred escapes.
Yeah, Mons just decimating. This is the first time I've seen Mons play, and Mons has a lot of knowledge to the game, and he's playing to his strengths very well. Hephaestus was able to play despite having the disadvantage in lane. Mundo picked up 2 kills early, but wasn't able to do much with it because Mundo just doesn't have a whole lot of CC to help the team.
Yeah, the kill pressure not really there in the solo kill and the rest of the map as well. The Mundo just can help your team, but hard to be the stalwart, the main carry for your team. Hephaestus did a great job kind of losing gracefully and letting the team carry the game. But that is, I think, all we have for now. We'll be back in a little while with the grand finals. It'll be Wisconsin Lutheran taking on the victor of our earlier game, which we can pull up the schedule if the mouse can work. There we go. There's the schedule. So the winner of Mount Horeb and Kimberly will be taking on Wisconsin Lutheran. As soon as they're ready, as soon as they sit in the chairs, and people tell us to start. So we'll be back in a little while with those grand finals. Go away.